Stepped up to the house party, kinda faded. J's on mask on, yeah, I'm kinda basic. You stood out, Halle Berry cut, amazing.
And we still have our brother Leftway with us. Listen, there's not too many people who have joined us on the couch, man, or joined us on the show. So it's an honor to have Left because he's an amazing artist, engineer, just a genuine good person.
A better person.
Yeah, a better person. No, for real, man.
Yeah.
The good Lord seems to send us the right people.
But we got to give God credit because we did pray for this.
Yeah, let's talk about it, bro.
I'm saying? Likewise. We gotta give God the glory because again, with prayer, it actually comes true. Yeah. Like
not just saying that, we actually sat and prayed.
Yeah.
You know, for other people that don't know our story, you know, we don't want to.
Yeah, we pray for people and they don't even know we praying for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And what I've learned, what's so crazy is, as I've gotten older, this gentleman here has taught me the valuable lesson of relationships.
Yes,
relationship equity.
It goes a long way. It also ties into what people say. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Right? It's crazy when you're working or wherever the situation may be. Sometimes I'm like, yo, do you know such and such? Or how did you get to this? Oh, I know such and such. It's never what did you do to get here. It's who you know to get here. But it's been an interesting ride with my brothers here. And hip hop has played a major role. But Leftway, I do remember you saying you had a question, and I'm very interested and curious on what that question is.
Nah, it's right on topic. I was just going to say, like, what for y'all has hip hop done outside the music that's impacted you the most or at a high level, like in life, bro? As a culture, as a lifestyle, as a movement, as a heartbeat, like how has hip hop impacted your decisions, your direction,
I don't.
Good question.
Let's start off.
You want to put me on the spot?
Yeah.
Just being transparent, like and outspoken, and being able to speak in certain spaces and be yourself. You know, hip hop is about being yourself, not being nobody else. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
old hip hop. Today Leftway was like, yo, what kind of sneakers you got on? Like this is Dills. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm organically myself.
Yeah.
And that's what hip hop's bring. Hip hop is a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It's a lifestyle. It's something we live every day. You know what I'm saying? When we walk outside, where we from, you know what I'm saying? The people we deal with, you know what I mean?
Like who you date.
Who you date.
Whatever,
just
how you talk, how you walk, how you dress.
It's everything.
That's what I was going to say. For me, hip hop was, I grew up very rigid. My family was very religious, very rigid. So as I got more and more into hip hop, to piggyback off what Ron said, I kind of learned my own, it brought some swag to me. You know, being from a family that was very strict and uptight. So hip hop just showed me, hey, it's okay to be yourself and to try new things and to be confident and different things like that. So I would say hip hop, I think it did that for me. It brought me just to a different era, like a different place. It's a
different feel. Like, I'm quite sure, like when you went to church, you had your suit on. You probably was like, but you get home, you put on your starter jacket,
back in the day, yeah.
Your Air Force Ones, and it's a different feel. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I feel like me.
I'm him.
Yeah.
Like, you feel like I'm him.
I definitely, hip hop brought me to music, man. It brought me to making beats, which led me to this very couch right now. When I'm hear hip hop music and beats, because that resonated with me. I said I want to be a part of that. It caused me to join band when at one point that was considered corny. If it wasn't necessarily cool to be in the band, and I
wanted to understand rhythm and sound
but even then at the time it's not as cool as it. I'm on the side playing cymbals, but what that did is it allowed me to look at rhythm in a completely different way. It allowed me to see, just because I may play one ding on a triangle, that if I don't do it right, it's not gonna be the way it's supposed to be, right? Now, yes, I'm in the band, but I wouldn't even be in band if I didn't hear music like a beat, you know, that I used to record on the radio and be like, oh my God. And I'd be like, you know, it just, hip hop caused me to make music. It caused me to meet the people that I know and as chosen family, you know. So I used to hear people say, yo, I am hip hop. I now truly believe that's me. You know what I mean? Because like I said, the way I walk, the way I talk, and it's like I'm not trying to be nobody. I think, if anything, I would love to be the person that's not like anybody. If there's a crowd of 20 over there, I'll gladly sit over here and just watch them. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, being on the side that we sit on, the creative side, not the consumer side, like, I find it so crazy. Like, we won't know what it's like just to be the consumer. We create too much. Like, I find it so crazy how powerful that if somebody push a button or rhyme a word, what that does to the masses. Like, I remember when Jay-Z put out 444 and that joint saved marriages. Like,
on the flip
you know what I'm
side,
saying?
though,
like,
what's so crazy though, on the flip side, some people thought that was his worst project. They didn't get that he was growing as a man, but he was growing in hip hop, and no one has ever seen that. You know, so it's interesting to hear on one side.
But
the people, marriages.
The people that made those comments, you got to look at where they are in their life.
Well,
right?
Naturally,
you know?
On
both sides.
Yeah, exactly. But even to see, you bring up Jay. I mean, Jay is the epitome of hip hop. You know, when you hear most stories, I started in a project, you know, with nothing, and then, or I normally didn't have anything, but now I've sold these records. I'm this icon. I got, you know what I mean, like, and it's all due to hip hop. You know what I mean? In fact, hip hop is so powerful that the world has considered hip hop to be American culture. You know what I mean? Where
Black culture.
No, it's American culture because
I know what you're saying, but
no, it's American culture because it was created in America by a people that were considered black, right?
Okay,
but
all right,
but
let's argue. It's about time.
Yes,
it's not. It doesn't even have to be an argument. In fact, hip hop and music is a universal language.
It is now.
It brought people together, and I honestly think that's why God allowed it to be created. So people like us can sit down and say, you know what? Despite what it started with, it ended where people came together. It saved marriages. It saved lives. You know what I'm saying? I can go to another part of the country and someone that has never been to America is making me feel like I'm the biggest celebrity just because I came from a country that created hip hop.
But it's so powerful that it also caused divorces and take lives.
It's on both sides,
right? That's how powerful. That's what I'm saying.
On both sides.
Well, music itself is powerful.
Impact in general.
It's definitely powerful.
Music itself is powerful. I can go deep into that, but I'm not going to. But music is extremely powerful. It is the universal language, but you can't. You step into music as a creative. You got to realize you're stepping into a world that you don't have too much control over, and what you do and what you say, man, you have power. You have a lot of power and a lot of influence. So,
question. It just came up. 50 years in hip hop is very epic. It's something that should be celebrated.
Yeah.
Hip hop is still here. Now, for some, would say that hip hop is no longer hip hop anymore.
I don't know if it's hip hop.
But I just like how each generation will say the last generation music was great or greater than, but the last generation will say our music wasn't as good as theirs. It's always going to be a generation saying that the last generation wasn't.
It's like that with everything, though. Like,
but we can appreciate.
Michael Jordan is the best, player.
He wasn't. He is.
Yeah, I was just saying, but this generation to say LeBron.
Don't.
But
nigga hate LeBron. But you know what I'm saying? Before then, they said it was Julius Erving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so it's everybody.
It's subjective.
It's subjective. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But what I hate about it though, is the people who from the beginning they didn't get to reap the benefits of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like cats like DJ Hollywood. He's considered to be like the first
father
of of melody
Yeah.
in his rhymes. You know what I'm saying? And he's not super rich. He's probably still living in the projects. But you have Jay-Z, who's a billionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Soul to soul.
He's throwing a wrench. Jay-Z.
I got to, man. I gotta make it. Gotta make it show a little fun.
I mean, everybody, whoever's successful, so they sold, I guess. But
But the other thing too is like good business. Not to sell your soul, but I'm saying like people have made business moves to put them in a position that's somewhat outside the music. Like, and I'm not saying that the DJs in the back then didn't, but were they selling their own merch? Were they doing business collabs? And
well, to what I'm gonna switch to R&B. Well, not still hip hop. Remember when you were talking about Belle Biv DeVoe?
yeah,
And you were talking about how my man was the first one to do a
50-50 deal.
50-50 deal.
Michael Bivins.
Michael Bivins. He thought business. And so where some people feel like, yo, man, you hating on us or you left us, he just was thinking business minded.
For those who don't know, just want to give you a little context. He is part of two groups, Belle Biv DeVoe and New Edition, older R&B and hip hop kind of group.
Yeah.
In fact, Belle Biv DeVoe was one of the first hip hop kind of R&B type of groups. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, Biv definitely.
He's and hip hop, like he's a part of. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to him, man, because he created a lot of shit from as far as looks too. Like if you look at Belle Biv DeVoe, how they dressed and stuff like that, TLC did it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? A lot of people was biting that shit. So like you got to look at that documentary. That shit is amazing.
Let me ask you a question, because you mentioned earlier that you said you were listening to some rappers and they were saying some things that they maybe weren't true. They hadn't lived themselves. So I've seen on Instagram, and I'm going to use social media as a reference point because that's where a lot of us get our information from now, that it's said that the industry actually pays some artists more to speak and say things. Like, you think that's a true statement that some artists have said it? They're like,
they're saying is that the industry is what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like they're supporting like beef and funding
the detriment of community, not all community,
right? Like they're paying for the response. YouTube is paying for the response of these art, like things like plays like that. I heard it are happening.
Now I'm gonna jump in real quick. You mentioned Netflix. Just while I was on vacation, I was watching the movie that Jamie Foxx was in. They Cloned Tony. Have anybody watched it?
No, I didn't watch it.
You need to watch it because it's very interesting.
You gotta watch it twice.
They talk
I heard
about
the concept is good, but the movie itself is.
But
I'm gonna watch
it's worth
it.
watching. It's on Netflix. It's essentially free. You pay for Netflix. But what I liked about it was talking about how the powers that be are using all the things that we love that we don't even
against us, right?
Hair, chicken, music, all kinds of things to influence us. And I think that was the underlying message in the movie. Like, yo, they after us, and they building this whole system of how to control us with the TV, social media, the music, what we eat, all this stuff, and we just going along with it. I think that's very powerful.
Do y'all feel like, and it's just I'm just playing advocate, right? But like, do y'all feel like it's just so easy to blame something? Like oh yeah, well
not
they
anymore.
just
Not anymore. I'm very self-aware. I think as I've gotten older, I've made it almost a job to make sure
Take
I
responsibility.
take accountability. I want to be sincere if I know that I'm doing something wrong. Because to point the finger, you're not growing because you're just pushing and putting on everyone
Like,
else. But
I say this too.
Yeah.
I'm not yet a parent, so that's also a problem. Because if I was, even though I have nephews and goddaughters and such, like I see what they watch, and it's like some of it's like, yo, should they be seeing it?
Come on. So
Right, so I get that part of it too.
well, we have two fathers in here.
I was
which
gonna say
good.
to Dre, because
Yeah.
you want to be devil advocate. I'm gonna be the anti-devil's advocate. I'm just gonna go there
What?
because, like you said, you can, Dre. We all can take accountability and take responsibility, but at the same time, point out what we see. This is a little funny, and this seems a little bit too orchestrated. It doesn't have to be this or that. It can be this and that. You see what I'm saying?
I can take a specific example. I was at a friend's house. He has a son, and he peeped it too. And I was like, that's crazy. There was a show on Netflix, right? And the character when he was mad, like when a mad character, they just like point the eyebrows, like make it look like this, like he's angry. The kid was copying, so it made him angry. Like just the mirror, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, wow, that's crazy.
And I was
like,
watching the other day. I forgot what I was watching at home, but something on TV. And the older cartoons we used to play when Coyote was chasing each other, it was so much more innocent. It was just more like, but now it's like really trying to teach these kids.
It's an agenda.
But listen, we can take responsibility and accountability, saying, listen, we got to raise our kids. We got to teach them what's right and wrong according to our belief system. We can say all that and take responsibility for our part. But at the same time, we can say there's some bullshit going on. You see, I'm getting hyped. You see my voice change when I get hyped. There's some bullshit going on because I got 2 girls, and it's like every time I turn around, it's like, why? Yeah. Why is this? Why?
And then take that concept and yes, apply it to like the regular masses, the sheep. Because you're not that, but there's so many of that. It's easy to generate revenue off of that. It's easy to set a direction or create an agenda.
Listen, like we created, put your phone down. Sometimes you just gotta
finish that record.
Sometimes you just gotta put the phone
down. When I'm talking to you, I just want.
Yo, we really did that though, man.
Yeah.
Shouts to y'all. That's
we started.
So yeah, just to give a little context, we created a record that
y'all could break that on this.
Huh?
Yeah.
Man, we could do what we want to.
That's big. That's big news. So I ain't know.
Well,
no, listen, we got music, and who was talking? We can't keep it on the hard drives anymore.
We're working on a record for.
You know what I'm saying? Left Way. I'm sorry.
The Elements.
Left Way. I've been meaning to tell you, you're a very talented brother, and he has some music that is sitting on his hard drive. That's amazing, bro.
Crazy.
I'm gonna tell you one that's on the drive though. The joint we got, that's next.
Listen,
I think I know what you're talking about. I saw you
The
recording
Believe
that
joint.
Oh,
bro.
Man.
We got.
I saw you working on that, man. I got hyped when I saw it.
Yeah.
Because I know it's gonna be.
I don't even know what that is.
Yo, it's the joint I sent you when y'all were in
Make
LA.
to believe.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
See, but there's more of that. You know what I mean? And I know you take your time, just like any artist. You want to make sure things is right. Sonically, timing is right. But then when you start thinking about a record for too long, time is going. You know what I mean?
It was just my birthday. I know the numbers are only going up. I was like, yo, what's just happened?
What I realized too. Some news for all you writers that have BMI.
Oh, yeah,
they are going to be bought by an independent or private company.
Equity firm.
So when I see private, so that means they don't want to be.
It's all for profit. It's for profit.
Which means it's taken away from
the artist. How you feel about that, Lef? You heard about that? BMI.
I heard, but I didn't look in. What is it?
BMI is in the process of selling to a private equity firm.
$2 billion. Like that.
And so that's going to take that publishing, that PRO. And now, typically, if you look at the history, when private equity firms get involved, the little people they squeeze all the money out of whatever it is.
Even less.
You know what I'm saying?
They're taking even more.
Yeah. So,
I'm
with ASCAP. Shout out ASCAP. ASCAP.
Yeah, I don't agree with people having hands in the pot that they shouldn't have in. But I kind of low key came to the terms like music is free right now, bro. We sitting here arguing for
music is
points of
definitely
a
free.
penny on a stream.
Yeah,
bro.
It's not. Listen. We all understand. Wait. We all understand the concept.
People can do well off of streams. I'm not saying you can't.
You were talking about relationships earlier, and we all understand that. Having 25% of $1 million is better than having 100% of nothing. So I'm not mad at people for having a hand in the pot, but there's no fairness. My
thing is the what's not fair is who gets to decide
who's the gatekeeper,
right? Who
the people that created these platforms?
Apple. DSPs are the ones who are the god of this.
I just want people to follow the blueprint more. Like as an engineer, I have a lot of clients, bro, and I sit and talk with a lot of them after a session or before, and I'm like, how's your business? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you as a brand?
But they
And
don't even know, do they?
they don't really know how to answer the joint.
It's crazy you say that. The artists that we work with, not to go take too much time, but we would sit down like, do you have your publishing ready? And a lot of them would be like, no. You know what I mean? And that's a shame. It's unfortunate because
I mean, even I still don't understand publishing all the way, but
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
but that's not a problem because, and when I say it's a problem, that's how all of us feel.
Yeah.
There's a reason why
I don't understand it.
we sit and create music for hours, right? And now we got to make sure our business is right because, of course, we all took the time.
it's
But
just
now-
messed up because the era we're in,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The space that we're in
the
now.
space that we're in, this
Before I
independent space.
understood it, you know what I'm saying? But the streaming shit, fucking penny. Like it's
It's
like
a
And not even that
DSPs.
though. Like,
DSPs,
I just
man.
find it so crazy, bro. Like this new era, like the era that we grew up on. You're talented, get a deal. Everything, there's departments to take care of every single sector of what you need,
Yeah, but they don't want
and you
to
could
develop
go be
nobody.
what you need to be. This time, go get a laptop. Get your friend who knows graphic design.
yeah, you have to have everything.
You gotta know. You gotta play every.
Everything.
You
don't wanna-
gotta
they
wear
don't
every
wanna
hat.
You got
But
to
I
have
understand
everything
it.
already.
But I understand it because when we work with artists now, and I feel, because essentially, you work with artists kind of like a label. One of the first things I do is I go look up their Instagram and I see, they got this amount of followers. It's telling me kind of what's going to happen with what we do, what we possibly work with them, just based off the numbers. So labels have gotten lazy. They want you to build your numbers up, get your followers, build your brand, do up. They don't want to do all that.
But you know what?
They don't want to take all the money.
It's changing real quick, and I know we're about to end this, but what I will say is that it's not even about the numbers now. It's all about engagement.
That is numbers though.
No. I'm not saying it's not all about the numbers, but before it was okay. Let me see how many followers you have. Then that can tell me.
But engagement, likes, and comments.
Yeah. Because
So yes, so it's more about because think about it now. When you see a video or whatever, to me now the entertainment is like, I wonder what the comments saying.
Yeah, I
If you see a video and you don't know what you necessarily go on, what's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna go to the comments
That's
to get
gonna
more
tell you.
information. So as a brand, guess what? If I know that if I post this, I don't see people really reacting and saying like this or that and tagging other people, then guess what? Those numbers that quote unquote they may see is really not there because there's no engagement. But if I see 10,000 likes, 10,000 comments on something that got a million views or likes, now I can say, oh, those 10,000 people, I can bet on that. So it's like now it's moving into engagement, and I'm slowly starting to, it's not only just money, it's more of engagement, and it's moving so fast. But
It's good because it builds your leverage. It builds your leverage for a higher
that's
value.
how
It's-
that's how it has to be.
it's crazy because it's like at first I was like, you just got to be talented. You know what I'm saying? Right? And then it wasn't that. And then I was just like, all right, so you got to be talented and you got to have some money behind you. And it's not that, right?
I know people that got.
So and then that, right? So
Keep going.
you can keep going, right? So then it's like, okay, now you got to have a certain amount of followers and views, right? Now it's not even that.
You gotta have all the stuff
So
you
it's
mentioned
like,
before plus.
and it's like every time you start, like
Then it was like you got to know somebody.
yeah, like,
crazy.
and that's in between all the other shit.
Oh,
I was
yep,
saying.
the goalposts just keep
Yeah, and
moving.
you know what I'm saying? And even with like creating and shit, it was like, as soon as I got into like really being super good at writing like R&B, really R&B records, it was like, yo, now you got to start putting more melodies on that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's the evolution though, so you have to. That's what it's about.
sure.
But it's just like it could be frustrating sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Very.
Listen, fellas, it's been amazing time of hip hop music, which has brought us all
Music in
together.
general,
Yeah, it's unfortunate where it's going, but I think brothers like us. No, it's unfortunate, but I think brothers
All right,
like us.
but touch on that.
Huh?
Why? Touch on that.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh, that's
we don't
that's
have
another
enough.
episode.
No,
Okay,
Miss, go
okay.
there with go. They with us.
You can't
Y'all
just,
with us. Y'all
you
with us.
can't
Y'all
just
rocking
throw
with us.
that out there.
This is why you got to have them coming back.
Got you. All right,
You know
say
what
that.
I'm
So we
Episode
talk about that
3.
next week.
Yeah, next week.
We
Yeah.
definitely we have a lot more to say. We have a lot more to add to this wonderful.
Might be a part 3.
Episode
I
51,
mean,
51,
why not?
51.
Why not?
We gotta
man?
have Left come back to Philly.
Yo,
Come on, man. Get a
Episode 51.
cheesesteak.
Get a
Yeah.
cheesesteak,
You know what I
break
mean?
bread.
Listen,
Yeah.
but we got some music too.
Yeah, we're
gonna
gonna play a couple more songs. We took a little more time into talking. So listen, y'all can request this anytime. Hit up Indamixradio. Tell them you want to hear more of us. I'm pressing play. We're gonna hear some more music, and then we'll be back with you guys. Thanks for tuning in. All right.
Anyway, got a text from Dre. Told me to get dressed and be on my way. Yeah. Pulled up to the scene with it. And I'm super clean with it. She was on the dance floor. Seemed like she was waiting for